I used this tote marked Academia Instrumenta to transport the largest book I have ever owned back to America. The tote itself, I thought was going to break. I used it to carry the book from my wife's parents' house to Vnukovo Airport in Moscow, to the Istanbul Airport, from the Istanbul Airport back to my hotel, and then to my hotel to the Istanbul Airport, all the way back to America, where I dragged it all over Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. I am thoroughly impressed that this bag held up. The straps looked like they were going to tear. The binding here split a little bit. But overall, an admirable job. Well done, little tote. Or perhaps I should say, молодец, маленькая сумочка. The book itself was given to me by my father-in-law. My father-in-law, it should be said, is a very quiet, very thoughtful person, extremely serious. He really doesn't speak English, and my Russian is marginal at best. So we oftentimes had a bit of a communication problem, particularly when my wife was not around. Nonetheless, I have quite a bit of respect for him. And he showed me this book a few days before I came back to America, and I told him, it's a very beautiful book, but little did I know he was actually trying to give it to me. The book is Historia Государства Российского, which means History of the Russian State. It's by Nikolai Mikhailovich Karamzin, who was a Imperial Russian historian in the early part of the 19th century. The book itself, this is not a terribly old book, though obviously the original, this is a modern edition of the original. Unfortunately, the tin title plaque came off in transport, but I'll get around to gluing that back in place at some point. Rather pretty little tin. The book itself is just enormous. I can't remember exactly what the weight limit for carry-on luggage was, but I know this was nearly double. I was surprised that no one actually stopped me at the airport. But let's see how much it weighs. If I can pick it up by one hand. Oh. About 270 ounces. So, yeah. Pretty hefty. Now, I do not read Russian anywhere near well enough to translate this for y'all, but it's a rather beautifully decorated book at any rate. I'd flip through some. After I came back to America, I took this to work with me to show a colleague who is always reading history books and loves stuff like this. And as I expected, he really liked it. E.S. Glazunov, Yaroslavna. 1986, Moscow State Cartinia Galleria. It's just telling where this painting is located. Unfortunately, one of the unusual things about Russian is different fonts look radically different. So when things are written in cursive or italics like this, I have a very difficult time sometimes. This is P.V. Rezhenka, Kalka, 1996. Just the name of the artist. Picture is obviously a Slav being taken prisoner. Looks like he must be some kind of a prince or a king. I'm assuming these are Turks. Or perhaps Mongols. It looks like this is a chapter about the Middle Ages. But hopefully this isn't a too boring video, but thought I'd make it anyway. This is this, I believe, was the original Moskovskaya Kremlin, the original fortress of Moscow. Now, in general, I'm not a huge art person. You know, I suppose I can live by the motto, I don't know what art is, but I know what I like. Anyway, I think it is important to just take a moment and admire art a little bit sometimes. Particularly art from other eras. They had such a different way of viewing life than people in the modern age do. Some of these paintings are famous. Many of them are not. Sort of classic iconography. I was never quite sure what my father-in-law was saying when he presented this to me. He speaks rather softly and quickly, far too quickly for my childlike Russian skills to keep up. But I suppose he probably gave it to me for several reasons. First of all, both he and I greatly like history. Specifically Russian history is important to both of us, I think. But more than that, I think he just wanted our children, his grandchildren to have some connection with the motherland. So. It's a rather interesting picture. You know, the body and the details all around are rather impressionistic, but the face is pretty lifelike, and the hands. So. Home skiing. This is it's simply a boyarinya u okna, just a boyar's wife near the window. That's simply the title. Staroruski Gorod. So, I'm not sure exactly where that is, but it literally translates to Old Russian Town, or Old Russia City. Look like maybe some Kazakhs there. Looks like my colleague left a bookmark here. Krasная площадь, Москва. При Ionie Groznym. Obviously, this is a red square in Moscow before it was quite so red. This is This is Dmitri, the Tsarevich, son of the Tsar, Ubiyany. So I'm afraid I don't know what that last word is off the top of my head. Here's the famous Tsar Pushka. colleague really liked this. This is the Zaporozhye, right, the Zaporozhye Kazakhs write a letter to the Sultan of Turkey. And as you can tell, it's probably not a very polite letter they're writing. There's the famous Kazakh haircut. Top knot. And that's about it. It's got this wonderful embossed double-headed eagle here on the back. Well, hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice night.